Hi there folks, thank you for joining me. The point of this video is to show you how I go through capturing bits of video clips and how I might have put that together and what my thought process is when I'm putting together a video like on YouTube. But it also allows you to see what the experience was like of me actually recording a very professional looking video in a very lovely studio. I wanted to do a little short video on my journey down to London. I went down to do 2 days of video shooting. I stayed in the Battersea kind of area in Vauxhall, and we shot in the Nine Elms studio in Nine Elms. I basically got invited to do this amazing tour. I just want to give a big thank you and shout out to Unlimited for giving me the chance and opportunity to do this, and also a big thank you and shout out to Nine Elms Studios and Chocolate Films who helped with the kit and setting up and recording of the whole process. It just means a lot to me. Yeah, it just means a lot. These episodes were based on a series that I already ran with Unlimited, and when I've run them as separate sessions, there's so much information that goes into them. I loved being there and going through this experience, and I wanted to share that and document it in some kind of way. Part of that also comes with how to do a teleprompter and read from the script and what that feels like too. My first tip and suggestion is that we all take videos and photography, put them in a folder. I've probably got about 40 or 50 minutes of me just traveling. I've taken these video clips. Bill alludes to this idea and paints the picture of me traveling, and that's exactly what you can see here. I am doing a digital series, and yeah, I'm here in London town. I'm going to show you a quick shot of what it was like to sleep amongst the city of tall giant buildings. I've woken up this morning to a different view to Yorkshire, which is usually quite scenic and flat and big and hills. Here in London, everything's tall, really, really tall, and I can't see that far because there's a building there, there's a skyscraper there, 2 or 3 there's another part. Oh, I can see a building in the distance. Like, yeah, there's not much happening here other than tall buildings. I think I'm just used to being in land of Yorkshire in the countryside. I had a cup of tea because that's what normal people do. They have a cup of tea first thing in the morning. I had this. I'm sorry, but no. Typhoo, not my preferred brand. I'm just going to tell you, Yorkshire Tea, definitely the way forward here. You're getting a theme. So I just want to pause for a second to come back to the fact that I'm editing this video together, and just to tell you that the way in which a normal day runs is different to the way a YouTube video might work. So this particular video had lots of linear kind of footage. That means that I took footage from that evening and then in that clip, and it was one after the other. And actually what needs to happen is you need to reorganize that. So I've completely inverted a lot of what's actually happened. One of the other things that I've deployed as a tactic within the video is I've purposely made it a little bit funny. I don't know if it was purposely funny, but it was funny. And I've also then taken a look at how to edit components down so that they jump and have different moments. This means having different sections can also allow you to have a better way of grabbing the audience attention at certain points in time. So all of the workshops, finding out if your campaign actually works, understanding your audience, and evaluating your campaign, how to build your website, how to build an effective homepage. Well, one more, planning your content. What I need to do now, I've just looked at the clock, I need to head off. Hey, right. I am bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as you might say. So last night I finished the shoot for the day. Today is day 2, and then we're done. There's 6 sessions altogether, and yesterday we completed 3. I was really, really quite tired, and actually I'm talking now and I can feel, my voice ran out. One thing that I did discover was that I can walk to this place. Goodbye tube system and London Underground, I don't need you anymore. What were the key takeaways from day 1 of recording. We tested a few things out, made sure the room was set up, and then we went into scripting mode. Using a teleprompter was something that was new, and I'm not used to it. I don't need to explain that here because you know how I do it. The teleprompter system was useful because it refined what we did and I was able to get through things. I know that I'm trying to say something right now, whereas these YouTube videos are someone else's property and we need to make sure we hit all of the right bits. Apologies for interrupting the video again. The way that I'm coming across is like this is somebody else's property, and I literally say that. And then I go on to say that I need to hit on all the notes. But what I've learned now and what I figured out in all types of content, we are talking about video here, but the same for all types of content, you do need to try and see if you can hit the nail on the head all of the time. When I do my own content like this, it's fine and I feel like I just get on with it and do it. But actually I do need to consider the authorship of that a little bit more and how that's framed and take more responsibility than I thought I was doing previously. One thing I would say is that I didn't actually rehearse the scripts as such, and they were edited and changed quite a lot last minute. And in fact, a lot of time through the recording was me delivering the lines, saying it really badly or wrong, and then we'd have to edit those lines again. So a lot of time is taken up with dealing with the flow of the text as you read it from the teleprompter. We tend to develop what we say and change it quite a bit. So that means that your end target of what you're trying to say shifts a little bit each time. And if you take that one section and match it up to the 5 other sections in the one video, there's a lot of maneuvering around what your actual message is. In general, I just found it really hard and tiring, and now I'm feeling that my voice might lose out come lunchtime today. I do feel like I'm now talking on camera in a different way, and I feel like my confidence from this experience has allowed me to consider the journey planning a little bit more and a little bit more thoughtful perhaps than I had done before. Now I feel like I'm actually starting to understand what the top and tail is. For example, in this video, it's taken me many months to actually get to a point where I've got a camera, something that's mobile, good audio, not too jerky. So one thing that I discovered was being able to deliver on your script and to get that right is really tricky because of objectivity. Being able to be passionate about a subject is one thing, but then being able to transmit that and communicate that is actually quite challenging, because once you've started to create it, you lose that ability to be fully objective, and you need to give yourself a time and a break so that you can come back at another point in time. When I was being recorded, the fine people at Chocolate Films that were recording were constantly being objective and suggesting that maybe my tone or the words weren't said in the right way. It was a little bit hard to take, but ultimately they were seeing it from the point of view of you, the user. And I think that's really hard, to be objective and remain objective, especially in a process where you are doing it so often that you become subjective and you're part of it and you don't see it fresh for the first time anymore. They were able to look at the script and go, that doesn't make sense, or it doesn't read very well, or when I'm saying it, it doesn't come out the right way. You've also got to add the fact that they're also looking at the camera saying, yeah, it doesn't look good this way, or you need to have a break instead of continuously speaking. So being aware of yourself on camera is really interesting, because when you first start out on YouTube or you do any kind of video, in fact, when you do any kind of content, you tend to be quite self-aware and nervous a lot about what you're putting out there, and you're eternally watching your back and nervous. What I found in this experience of actually being recorded was that I went back to those feelings because I was now desensitized to that, and I was okay at being on camera when it's just me in a room by myself, and I'm okay with that. Now I had people fully critiquing me and watching me whilst I'm talking, and these giant cameras. And in this clip, we're just going to hear me briefly talk about that, but I just wanted to highlight that it doesn't matter what you're doing. At some point you will come back to feeling nervous, and it's just a case of being objective like in the previous section versus trying to let go and be confident at the same time. When I started to see these giant cameras in front of me, I'd sit there and I'd do that, and it was a shift between me describing things and being passionate almost about what I'm saying. And then that would change when I was faced by these cameras, because I'm just looking at the camera and I'm gonna smile and I'll do a little bit and it's done. And that little hand gesture with me focused on the camera is all I need to do. The rest of the stuff is done by like other cameras and like other stuff. And there's also fancy graphics that go on the screen too. The fancy graphics would look something like, I'm going to talk about these 3 points. Point number 1, point number 2, and point number 3. Like, if I actually get around to doing that, that's going to look really good, right? So I need to stop talking and I need to get on with the second day. So I'm going to call this section Should You Do This? You're probably going to listen to it and take out that I'm suggesting you should be doing videos like this, where you put up a budget and you get a company to do the editing. Should you do this? Actually, what I wanted to do was give you a balanced argument. So what I'm going to suggest is that you don't need to do this. Really, what I was trying to get out, what I failed to do, was talk about campaigns, but essentially for you to understand what block of videos you're doing, how you want to portray that, and for you to decide if you want to script it or if you want to just go off-piste and talk about stuff. And there is no right or wrong way of doing it. Consider the process in how you would create that particular video or a series of, and then how you would process that through. And if you need any help on that, then please do leave some comments below and I'll try to answer them as well. If you're doing your social enterprise and you've got a budget for something like this, then it's worth considering doing. But you might get lost in what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what the process is. So it's worth bearing in mind. Videos like this one, it's taken me a good couple of months to get a script out from workshops that I already deliver and refine into an 8-minute script, and then to change it several times to then get to a proper real good company to record it and use professional giant cameras. It's just an amazing experience. So in this process, you can't really think, yeah, it's all done, because you're going to get that video back and look at it and I missed the mark. And that's the bit where I'm nervous, but at the same time, I know the stuff is good. You just have that element of doubt that just creeps in every time. I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of social enterprises struggle with gauging with what they're able to do and how to plan things and what content to put into stuff. And often if you're doing things for the first time, it can be nervous. Yeah, I get it. Like, I'm fully nervous. It is a hard thing to do, especially when you get that moment and it turns into real life. The other thing just to remember is that the videos that we're making, they will be there forever. This is very different to any other social media content you do, because you tend to look at that and think, I need to post this. It's going and it's gone. What tends to happen with YouTube is these videos, these things stick around. It's not Twitter, it's YouTube. Organizational processes that don't like putting things out there that are wrong. In social entrepreneurs, they like to get out there and do things. It means that you might have a number of errors and mistakes. It might feel like you're taking too much time, but at the same time, if you're going to make things look absolutely awesome, you do need to take your time. I just want to say thank you very much for watching and being here right now. Please do click the like and subscribe button. And until next time, take care and see you soon.